Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 11, Episode 18. Y'all, I'm going to be extremely transparent with you guys. I was this close to not even doing a recap for this. I'm ready for the reunion. I was livid watching this episode. This gaslighting that they are doing to Garcelle is infuriating to watch. I don't know what to say anymore. I personally find Lisa Rinna to be a disgusting and vile human being. Dorit, Erika, Kyle, I'm just so over all of their BS. The fact that Garcelle had to have a breakdown in order for all of them to finally hear how she was feeling is absolutely ridiculous. Garcelle, I'm going to keep saying it for the coming weeks. I don't want to see any passive behavior at this reunion. You better let Rinna have it. You better let Dorit have it. You better give Kyle the business. I don't want to see any of this polite stuff. That needs to be out the window. So with all that being said, let's just jump right on into it because we don't have a minute to spare. And pour up some wine, child, because we're going to be here for a cute minute. I have a lot to say, and I'm going to need some red wine to calm me down. Cheers, y'all. The episode starts off with the biggest coward named Kyle. She's at home packing for this girls' trip to Del Mar. We find out that Kathy is planning a girls' trip to Del Mar with all the ladies, and Kyle is just so excited. She's going on and on about how it's just so crazy that her and Kathy went from not speaking for years to now they're going on a girls' trip together. Is anyone else tired of Kyle constantly mentioning how her and Kathy didn't speak for years? Okay, girl, we get it. Y'all were estranged for like a decade. Now y'all are cool again. We got it. I guess I really can't stand Kyle or Kathy, so I'm just sick of them. I really am sick of them. Kyle FaceTimes Crystal, and they start talking about the trip. They're all going to meet at Kyle's house and then leave from there. Kyle says to Crystal, did you notice how Sutton and Erika didn't say anything to each other last night at Dorit's? And now, since we're all going to Del Mar together, it's not going to be easy for them to pretend. Crystal says, I think everybody noticed, and us all being in the same hotel, it's going to be intense. Now, here's my question. Kyle, why the F do you care so much about Erika and Sutton not speaking? You are overly pressed about that. That should not be on your mind. You should not be losing any sleep over them not talking. And like I said a few recaps ago, you started the whole thing with Sutton and Erika not talking in the first place. Telling Erika at your sister's house that Sutton was lying and talking about her. So you caused it. Now you want to be so concerned, like, oh my gosh, they're not speaking. It's going to be so awkward. Again, why do you care? Sutton is well within her right to have nothing to say to Erika. The way Erika cursed her out, called her everything but a child of God at Kathy's house, I wouldn't speak to Erika either. I'd be giving Erika my ass to kiss. And Crystal, how intense is it really going to be? You guys are going to be in your own suites, so why does it matter? I could see if you guys were sharing a house together or sharing a room, then it could be kind of awkward, but y'all all are going to have your own space. And while Kyle was FaceTiming Crystal, she had her phone wedged in her Bottega sandals. I can't stand Kyle, but those Bottega sandals were very pretty, and I love that color. I love pink. I know you can't really tell because I feel like I'm always wearing black or white on here, but pink is actually my favorite color, especially a hot pink, but I digress. We move on to Kathy. She's at home, she's in her closet, and she's packing for Del Mar. I said, now girl, you can plan a girls trip, but you can't attend Garcelle's Haitian dinner party. Got it. And the fact that you couldn't even call up Garcelle to let her know that you couldn't attend, it really says a lot about you and your character. And before you even type it in the comments, I will be on Kathy's behind about her not attending Garcelle's dinner until the reunion. I'm not letting it go. Ever.
There we go. Thank you.
And you're gonna always get it again and again and again.
While Kathy's packing, she FaceTimes Dorit, and she's complimenting Dorit on how beautiful Dorit looked and how lovely the wedding dresses were. But now she wants to discuss the whole mess between her and Garcelle. Dorit says, Garcelle made a comment that we all came for her, and I didn't appreciate that. And I need my friends to be open, honest, and transparent. And her saying that really feels like she's not invested or interested in being friends. I said, Dorit, shut up. Like I've been saying for the last 4 or 5 recaps, you know good and well that you don't have any issue with Garcelle. You look at Garcelle as the weak link and the easiest target, and you're gonna do whatever you can to stay on this show because you have no storyline. And you don't wanna be forthright about your financial issues that you and PK have been dealing with for years. So your way of distracting the viewers from all of your real issues, you want to pretend that you now have this issue with Garcelle. Miss me with it. Dorit's going on and on and on because we know how long-winded she is. She can't seem to get to the point. She talks about how all these jabs makes her question if her and Garcelle are even friends. So while she's talking, Kathy is super distracted and she's putting her makeup on. It is just so funny, the stuff that Kathy gets away with because she's the wealthiest one in this group. Because had somebody else been on FaceTime with Dorit and they were doing their makeup and were halfway listening, Dorit would have had something to say. She would have said how rude that was. But because it's Kathy Hilton and you're intimidated by her stature and the money that she has, it's okay. I would have said, Kathy, if you can't seem to pay attention to what I'm saying, call me back some other time. There's no point in me being on FaceTime with you or on a phone call and you're not really listening. And if we're being honest, Kathy's personality is very flat as well. She doesn't have much of one. It's very one note, very dry. She also doesn't seem like she really engages with people. She seems like she's very uninterested in what folks have to say to her. Like if you talk to her, it's just very blank. Like she didn't hear anything past, hello, how are you? Now we flash back to Kyle's house. Rinna comes over. She's going on and on about how much she packed for this trip. And then Sutton arrives. Sutton has a sprained ankle. We find out that she's been dealing with some foot pain for about 2 years, and she's also been dealing with it in secret. Sutton revealing that she has foot pain, it makes sense as to why she kind of waddles when she walks. I was like, oh, it's all making sense now. So anyhow, she says in her confessional that she is going to fight to get back into her shoes. And we see a clip of her shoe closet, and her shoe closet was fabulous. I think she had 250 pairs of shoes and counting. I said, I know that's right. Sutton, in the event that you can never wear heels again, what size do you wear, girl? Because I will gladly take a few pairs off your hands. Garcelle's gonna be arriving later because she's still filming the reel. Crystal and Kathy Hilton arrive, and they're waiting for Erika. Erika arrives and says, I have my dog with me, so I'm gonna head to the hotel now. Like, I'll see y'all later. So Kyle comes downstairs. She's greeting everybody. She has her luggage. And Kathy says something to the effect of she can't find her purse with her initials on it. And she's like, did I leave it somewhere? We see that the purse is still at home. Kathy forgot it. Kyle says in her confessional that Kathy has always been babied. And I'm like, you can be babied, but you don't have to be helpless. Like, I was always babied growing up. I feel like I'm still babied now, but I can still fend for myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not just sitting up here, I can't do anything. To be honest with you, the way Kathy was treating Kyle in this scene, asking her to help find her purse and then asking for all this and that, it was like, why are you treating your sister like she's a flunky? The way Kyle just follows behind her sister, just like a little lap dog, like begging for her treat. I truly don't believe that Kathy likes Kyle. I think that she's tolerating Kyle. And that's pretty much where it starts and stops. I think that Kyle is just so desperate to be in her sister's good graces, she'll accept any crumb that Kathy throws out. So Kathy says, Kyle, can you call the lady at my house to bring my purse? And I was like, the lady? Really? That's just very disrespectful. And for you to not know the names of your staff, that's ridiculous. I am friends with people who have the money that Kathy Hilton does, all right? And they would never say anything so rude like the lady. They know everybody's name on their staff. They're not calling somebody the lady or the man. That's very degrading. That's very rude. Kyle calls the lady and she says, hi, can you please bring my sister's purse over? And the lady says, sure. Again, I didn't think that that was funny or cute whatsoever. Learn people's names. That just wasn't right. It left a very bad taste in my mouth. And then to add insult to injury, she didn't want the woman to come to her house to drop it off. She wanted the woman to come on the corner of the 405 and Sunset. I said, girl, what? I would have been pissed. I used to live in LA. I would have been like, I have to go there. I can't just come to your house and drop it off. That would be a lot easier. I really hope that Kathy gave her an extra $1,000 in her check, because that's a lot to ask for to meet somebody on the corner of the 405 and Sunset. I just said, really? So they all drive out of Kyle's house, and I was just confused, like, what was the point of them all meeting at Kyle's? You guys couldn't have just taken a party bus down to Del Mar? And before anybody says, well, because of COVID and safety, the Potomac women, when they went to Williamsburg, they all took a bus there. And earlier this season, we saw all the women fly on a private jet to go to Tahoe. So I was just surprised that they would go separately, but again, whatever. Erika arrives to Del Mar first, and the hotel is absolutely stunning. It reminded me a lot of the Beverly Hills Hotel because they're both pink. And I think that this hotel was the Fairmont. Just stunning. Fairmonts are gorgeous, by the way, but let me not get caught up in the hotels, child, because we will be here all day. Erika says in her confessional that none of the other women can understand or grasp what she's going through, that how this whole thing is just so emotional and how she doesn't want to sit at home and she's happy to be away. Soak all of these 5-star trips up, girl, because you might be headed to a long stay behind bars soon. So soak it up and enjoy it now. Sutton arrives to Del Mar and she says that her foot is getting worse and worse. And we see her like take off the bandages, and she says that her foot looks like an elephant foot. Then Kathy and Kyle arrive. Kyle says in her confessional that she loves traveling with Kathy because when she travels with her sister, she's always getting the best suites at the best hotels. First of all, why does Kyle always have to state the obvious? Obviously, you're going to be at a 5-star hotel in the best room. Like, okay, Captain Obvious, where else would you guys be staying? At the Motel 6? Like, some things don't need to be said. I will say that I loved Kyle and Kathy's suite. It was stunning. They're talking in their suite. Kathy lets Kyle know that she has a fun activity for them, and that is a pop-up picnic at the beach. Dorit and Erika arrive to their suite, and they're like, oh my gosh, it's so stunning. Here comes Dorit when she walks into the suite, and she's like, I wouldn't expect anything less, Miss Hilton. It was like, girl, can you just wipe the drool off your mouth for just a little bit? Like, stop all that ass kissing. So they arrive at the beach for their pop-up picnic, and I will say that the setup was absolutely gorgeous. They all sit down to eat. Sutton FaceTimes Kyle. And did y'all catch that when her phone was ringing, before Kyle picks up the phone, she says to Erika, sorry, Erika, why are you apologizing to Erika? Who is Erika Jane where you need to apologize before you pick up a phone call? Kyle and Sutton are talking, and Sutton's telling Kyle all about how she has to be on crutches, how she can't be on her foot for like the next week, how she's in pain. And Kyle's like, oh my gosh, you know, that's crazy, feel better. And then of course, Rinna, because Rinna always has to insert herself in every conversation, she's like, oh my gosh, you know, feel better, girl. Like, you just rest up. So while they're talking to Sutton via FaceTime at the table, Erika's sitting there rolling her eyes, looking up at the sky. It was like, okay, girl, you don't like it, and? Erika really acts like the sun rises and sets on her. Like somebody really needs to feel a certain type of way that she's upset. So Kyle gets off the phone with Sutton, and then of course, Dorit has to be super messy, and she's like, so Erika, how do you feel about Sutton? Erika says, in that little fake dry voice of hers, I don't know if she thinks that this voice is scaring people, or she thinks that she's intimidating somebody. All it's doing for me is make me look at her like the clown that she is. She sounds just as stupid as she wants to sound. So she goes on to say, being called a liar is not okay. And I'm not lying about anything. Then she says, and it's something that I'm not going to tolerate. So Dorit goes on to ask, did she really use the word liar though? Like, did she really say that? Kyle interjects and says, yes, she did use the word liar when she was bringing up the example about the accident. Now, Kyle, where was this energy later on in the episode when Erika asked at the dinner table, did she not use the word liar about me? And you didn't answer. Where was it? You continue to show that you are a two-faced coward. Because you have all this mouth on the beach, then when Sutton was there at dinner, then it was quiet. So now Dorit segues into the whole accident with Tom, and was he really unconscious for 12 hours? And Erika's like, yeah, I mean, allegedly. So Kyle's super confused by that allegedly comment, and she says in her confessional, you're the one who told us about this, so why are you saying allegedly now? Like, I'm confused by this whole thing. Then Erika goes on to say how Tom can't be put under at his age, and the fact that he has traumatic brain injury. I said, girl, what? Erika was making no sense at this table. Erika, you need to keep quiet. You are incriminating yourself, and you are also lying. You can't keep track of any of your stories. You are pulling things out of thin air. I said, why is it so hard to just shut up about things? Just say, I don't want to speak about this, or I plead the fifth. That's not hard. But you and these web of lies is making things a lot worse for you. Everybody at the table is confused. Dorit says that while she thinks that Erika is telling the truth and being honest, she just feels like Erika's not giving all the information, which makes it sometimes debatable. I said, Dorit, I want you to stop playing in my face because you feel the same way that your husband does. You're just too scared to say it. For some reason, you just crave Erika's friendship so badly that you want to sit up there and pretend like you believe her, but you don't. Erika goes on to say how she knew that there was a problem on her hands for years regarding Tom and his health, but everybody blew her off because they didn't believe her. Then she ends the conversation saying that she does not care that Sutton felt threatened and that she should feel threatened. Girl, I hope you have this energy in the event that you do go to jail. Let's see if you're all big, bad, and bold then. I doubt it. Garcelle arrives to the hotel, and I was really happy that Garcelle got a beautiful suite. I was like, don't put my Garcelle in some regular room, all right? She better be in one of the best suites as well. She's popping some champagne, and Sutton knocks on the door, and Sutton is in a wheelchair. Sutton and Garcelle start talking about Erika. Garcelle's like, so how are you feeling? What are things like between you two? Sutton says, well, hey, Crystal told me that Erika wants nothing to do with me and how the door is closed on her end. So now Sutton says, so I just don't know, should I respect that or should I try to knock on the door? Garcelle's like, girl, don't even try to knock on that door, like leave it be. Sutton, I don't know why you have any desire to try to patch anything up with Erika. I'll be damned if I'm sitting up there begging for somebody to speak to me. Like, it couldn't be me, girl. The way I'd be paying Erika dust, the way I'd be giving Erika my ass to kiss, And it's just so funny to me how Erika has the most venom for Sutton when we see the clip that Sutton was the only one who offered her money. Like, how are you mad at the only friend who really cares about you and wanted to make sure that you're not dead broke while going through this crazy divorce and legal matter? But you have the most smoke for her. Sutton says, I'm a good friend, I'm a good person, I'm dealing with my own situation with this sprained ankle right now, so somebody else can play detective because I'm out. These ladies feel the same exact way that Sutton and Garcelle do. They're just too cowardly to say that. So now we move on to all the ladies getting ready for dinner. Dinner starts at 8, and of course, Kathy and Kyle are still in their suite just getting ready. I can't stand lateness. It's a big pet peeve of mine. I'm not saying like if you're a few minutes late. No, I mean when you are like 45 minutes, an hour late, 2 hours late, that's just so rude to me. And I didn't like Kathy's cavalier attitude about it too, especially when Lisa Rinna called Kyle to see where they were. And Kathy was like, is she your boss or something? Like, okay, they're having a drink, they'll deal with it. It's like, wow. Kathy really showed her slip in this episode. It really shows how self-centered she is. And she gives very much so, my time is the most important. I'm the most important person in this room, so you guys will wait for me. Baby, I would have sat down at that table, called the waiter, and started ordering my food. I was also cracking up at Kathy having those rollers in her hair, and her hair was still flat as a board. Kyle and Kathy finally join the other ladies for dinner, and they all sit down and start ordering their food. That food sounded so good. That Chilean sea bass, my mouth was watering. I love the Chilean sea bass at Tao. Chef's kiss. If you haven't had it, go to Tao and get it. It is amazing. Side note, I was cracking up when Sutton said to Garcelle, Garcelle, you're just so motherly. Like, thank you for taking care of me. Because you know that Garcelle was wheeling Sutton because of her foot. I said, Sutton, I really hope that you give Garcelle a really nice gift for her helping you and wheeling you around. Especially with Garcelle being the only black woman on this cast. Just the optics of a black woman wheeling you around everywhere. I'm just saying, I don't know if I would have been so nice. I would have said, Sutton, girl, I love you, but I'll be nice and call up somebody from the hotel to help wheel you down to the restaurant. Because I'm not about to be sitting up here playing the caretaker. Just saying. I'm just keeping it real, y'all. But I digress. So everybody's going around the table saying how they feel. Dorit says that she's relaxed. Erika says that she's fearful. Garcelle says that she's happy. Kathy says that she's anxious. So they all ask Kathy why she feels anxious. And she says, because I feel like there are still some lingering issues in this group. Sutton chimes in and says, I just want to say, yes, I did have a meeting without Erika. And I did it because I was in a very nervous space. And I just had a few questions. And no, I will not apologize for it. Then she says, and Erika, you are really scary and you really hurt my feelings the way you spoke to me at Kathy's dinner. So Erika's super nasty and she says, well, don't call me a liar. Then Erika says, I don't care that you think I'm scary. Why are you talking to me in the first place? I was like, see, right then and there, Sutton should have snapped and cursed her all the way out. Who do you think you're talking to? I wish Erika would tell me, why are you talking to me? I really hope that they do a crossover one day because some of these ladies on Beverly Hills need to be checked. Could you imagine if Erika had said, why are you talking to me, to Teresa Giudice from New Jersey? Don't get it twisted. New Jersey is a ratchet franchise too. Miss Teresa would have gotten on Erika's ass. Are you kidding me? It would have been lights out for Miss Erika. I can assure you that. So Erika, Sutton are going back and forth. Nothing is getting resolved. Kathy now interjects and says, can't we all just be a little bit forgiving? I really don't think that Sutton meant anything by it. I think that she chose the wrong word. I don't think that she meant to call you a liar. Erika says nope, she is not interested in resolving anything with Sutton. She's angry at Sutton and wants nothing to do with her. Now Dorit decides that she wants some camera time, and she says, look, Erika is dealing with a lot, the door is closed, and this is crossing the line. Dorit reminds me so much of Mia from Potomac, just always has to insert herself in every freaking conversation. Girl, shut the F up. Nobody was talking to you. I don't understand why you feel like you and Kyle have to be Erika's spokespeople. Erika is 50 years old. If she has something to say, she can say it herself. Why do y'all need to chime in and defend her? Sutton says, look, I just don't understand how I'm being made out to be the bad guy, and she's the one who crossed the line too. So now Dorit gets upset and says, Sutton, if you just allow me to finish my thought, because I'm actually trying to say something nice and help you out. Sutton's like, girl, help me out how? Like, I don't need your help. I said the woman who is the most long-winded, can't get to the point, and is a poor conversationalist has the nerve to tell somebody else not to interrupt her. So here's where the conversation turns, and here's where I'm about to lose it during this next 5 to 10 minutes because I was absolutely livid. Garcelle steps in and defends her good friend Sutton, and she says, it feels like at Kathy's house, it was all skewed to Sutton. And it was. Sutton got all the blame and all the heat when everybody feels the same way that she does. So now Dorit turns to Garcelle and gives her the most passive-aggressive answer. So she says, well, clearly, Garcelle, you've been in the group long enough. You can't see how I'm trying to help her? You do understand, don't you? So I was like, oh my gosh. I said, Garcelle, if you don't get this woman, if you don't put Dorit in her place, then I know something. Dorit gives pure Karen vibes when it comes to how she deals with Garcelle. So Garcelle says, so repeatedly telling Sutton to be honest, that's helping her? Like, make it make sense for me. Now Dorit brings up when Garcelle was saying, that's not what you said at Kyle's Christmas dinner. And she's imitating Garcelle saying,
and that's not what you said.
I said, Dorit, what kind of imitation is that? You all can pretend that Dorit isn't racist and that she's not gaslighting Garcelle, but she is. Now Rinna has to bring her sorry ass in the conversation, and she's focusing on Garcelle. She says, it seems like there are still some hurt feelings between you and Dorit. Kathy chimes in and says, but I thought that you two have moved past that. Garcelle says, I thought we moved past that too, but apparently not. Now Dorit gets real smug and says, you know, I really prefer for my friends to be upfront, transparent, and honest. I don't know if Rinna thought that she was channeling her inner Dr. Phil, but she was out of order the way she started questioning and analyzing Garcelle. She says, Garcelle, now you said that you felt uncomfortable in this group. Garcelle shuts it down and says, I never said uncomfortable. I said accepted. So now Rinna says, Garcelle, do you like all the women in this group? Garcelle says, I do, just some more than others. And Rinna, you really thought you had something when you said, and Garcelle, you feel uncomfortable in this group, knowing good and well that's not what she said at all. I would have told Rinna, get the F out my face. I don't need you questioning me like I'm some sort of child. Rinna starts badgering Garcelle even further, saying that Garcelle needs to make an effort if she wants to be in this group. Then Rinna says in her confessional how she's known Garcelle for over 20 years and friendship is a two-way street and Garcelle needs to do better and make more of an effort because they all make an effort. The same woman who turned on her best friend Denise Richards at 20 years, Garcelle needs to be taking friendship advice from you. You're the wrong person to be advising or telling anybody anything in regards to friendship. You turned on your friend and ran her off this show. But you want to tell Garcelle to make an effort if she wants to be in this group. How dare you? I wanted to throw something at my TV. I was pissed. Yes, my voice is raised. I was absolutely livid. They're sitting up here gaslighting this black woman at this table, knowing good and damn well they know exactly what she means. They don't treat her right. They don't see her as their equal. They do not respect her. And that's why they treat her any old raggedy way. And every time she speaks up about it, they want to sit there and lie and say, well, you're not making an effort. No, she is making the effort. But she's not about to sit up here and kiss y'all's asses and you're pissed about it. Until you do right by Denise Richards, don't you ever open your mouth to say anything regarding friendship. And you, Kyle, and Dorit were all smug at that dinner table, your little smiles on your faces while you were getting on Garcelle. Y'all were giving very much 3 hyenas circling their prey, and Garcelle's the prey. The enjoyment on your face while you were saying what you said to Garcelle, that was so unacceptable to me. I said, damn, Garcelle really is all alone. If you're going to have a black person on this cast, you need to make sure, Andy, that the rest of these white women are not racist. What Rinna and Dorit did at this table, I was just absolutely floored. And I was damn near in tears when Garcelle broke down crying and she said, all my life I've had to fight to be accepted. Have any of y'all ever walked into a room feeling and knowing that you're different? And when she said, I'm the only black woman in this group, do y'all ever stop and think about how I feel? And all of them on that table were looking just as stupid as they wanted to look. They were looking head down. I said, no, speak up now. Y'all got so much to say. Y'all want to be Billy Badass. Speak up now. Cass got your tongue. Now everybody's silent. Nobody knows what to say. It shouldn't take Garcelle having a breakdown at the dinner table for y'all to finally get right and be like, you know what? I understand where you're coming from. And when Garcelle asked, have y'all ever felt like y'all didn't fit in somewhere? And then Kathy gonna say, you know, I have. Girl, shut the F up. You have never felt like an outsider a day in your life. You're wealthy, you're white. Stop. And if you are a well-to-do, affluent black person, then you really know what it is to always be the only black person in the room. And when Kyle and Kathy and Rinna and Dorit all ran over there to give her a big hug, I would have told all of them, get y'all's motherfucking hands off me. Don't touch me. Don't come near me. Especially you, Rinna and Dorit and Kyle. Don't talk to me. Don't say nothing to me. Y'all want to tear this lady down to nothing, have her crying like this, feeling bad, for you to finally somewhat get it. And the only reason why y'all ran to hug her and act like you really care about her, because you know the viewers would be on y'all's asses even more. Y'all don't care about Garcelle, and it's evident. I was disgusted at what I saw. Garcelle should have knocked that table over, to be very honest with you. I was just so livid. I thought it was telling that Crystal didn't go over there to give her a hug or see if she was okay. I said, okay, girl, I see where you're coming from. Well, I saw where you were coming from a few episodes ago. But I just said, wow, it's like that. It really does go to show that black women, we really only have ourselves, like for real. We can't depend on other people coming to our aid or sticking up for us. It really is just us against everybody. And yes, I'm saying it. We're gonna go there today because it's the truth. That was just such a sorry display to watch, and I could have just jumped through that TV and yanked Rinna, Dorit, and Kyle up. It's just so sad that it has to take all that to get somebody to care and somebody to understand you. The fact that they wanted to play dense up until she started crying. And then it was like, you know, that was just so beautiful that you showed that vulnerable side of you. Shut up. She should not have to do all that for y'all to finally respect her and hear what she's saying. You guys can easily understand when one of y'all say, you know, my feelings are hurt, you get that. How come you can't understand when Garcelle says her feelings are hurt? Now all of a sudden y'all can't understand that? It doesn't compute? Child, I really was just too through. I don't even want to finish this recap. I don't even care about the next scene. Like, we can just end this recap right where it is. The ignorance has got to stop. The microaggressions have got to stop. The gaslighting has got to stop. Y'all are going to lose quite a few viewers if all these ladies continue to treat Garcelle like this in season 12. I promise you the viewership will drop if Rinna, Dorit, and Kyle keep carrying on the way they've been carrying on. I promise you that. Garcelle, I'm just so upset that these raggedy ass women have been trying you since the minute you got on this show. Dorit and Rinna, y'all are two racist clowns. I really got nothing for y'all going forward. I don't need to see y'all on my screen anymore. Dorit, you really need to go. You don't offer anything to this show. You have a phony accent and you have no storyline. We don't care about these wedding gowns that you're trying to peddle for 35,000 American dollars. No, ma'am. Rinna, I'm just waiting for the day that your card is pulled and they run you off this show and you're crying. Because the day is coming soon and I'm going to be here for it, doing backflips, front flips, having a big old magnum of champagne. I'm going to be sitting up here partying with my little party hat and balloons and everything. I can't stand you. And Kyle, you're just so boring and raggedy and stale. You will never be Lisa Vanderpump, ever. Just tired and late. And you can buy all the Birkins and Chanel and you still won't ever be that girl. She's only the queen bee on this show because of a technicality, because LVP isn't on here. And Erika, you sitting up here talking all tough, trying to do all that fake mafia tough girl stuff, and you on your way to the jailhouse, so I don't have too much for you, girl. Let me tell you something, had I been at that dinner table, I would have been clearing everybody from A to Z. Garcelle would not have been the one crying. They all would have been crying. It would have been, get the Kleenex out. Get the Kleenex out, girls, because I'm going one by one. We move on to the final scenes with all the ladies minus Erika doing a sound bath. Kathy falls asleep during the sound bath. I mean, this scene was not that interesting, but we see after the sound bath is over that Rinna pulls Kyle and Dorit to the side and says, did you guys hear about the latest article on page 6, how Tom has to go to a home and how his brother is going to have control? He's going to be in a conservatorship situation. And they're like, oh my gosh, like that's terrible. So now is Kyle and Rinna going up to Erika's suite and they're all talking about the news article. Erika says that she knew about this article last night and she was sitting with it all last night during dinner. So that's why she said that she felt fearful when they were going around asking how everybody felt. Child, Erika is going on and on about how she's just really sad about this whole situation. She does not want him going to any sort of facility because they treat you really bad there. She brings up how her grandmother had dementia and her grandmother was put in a home and she watched her grandma die. Then she says how Tom paid for her grandmother's care and she'll always remember that. Let me just be honest with y'all. I think that Erika and Tom are still talking. I believe that they're both in cahoots together because for somebody who is going through this awful divorce, you're telling me that this man was so awful to you while you were married, he was a cheater. Now you're sounding like you just love him so much, you still care for him, and you know, you spent 22 years with this man. I said it's just sounding a little bit too mushy and romantic for me to believe that you guys are not speaking. It's just so many lies. I'm not here for this whole sob story about, oh, I just still love him. I hope that he's okay. Like, girl, stop. Because when you divorced him, you told everybody, I left, I dropped him off at the office, and I never looked back. I didn't tell him anything. Then when y'all were in Palm Springs, it was, well, we still talk. Now it's all this about I still care about him. It's like, girl, which one is it? Erika has more stories than a damn comic book. I was rolling my eyes during this entire scene. And then when Kyle went on to ask, so where are his kids? Like, where's his family? They're just going to let this happen? And then Erika said, yeah, I mean, he's of no use to them now. Like, they don't want to be associated with all this. They don't want the public shame attached to them. And it's like, just stop it. It is so funny how Erika keeps changing her tune every single episode. She doesn't know if she's on Tom's side or if she isn't. Like, girl, make up your mind. Tell the truth. And Rinna sounded just as ridiculous as she wanted to sound, talking about, you know, it's really sweet seeing how Erika has a motherly connection to Tom, and I feel the same way because I'm a mother too. It was like, but that's not her son. That was her husband. He's older than her. How does she have a motherly connection to him? They just say any old raggedy thing out their mouths. That made no sense. It is just so funny to me how Lisa, Rinna, and Kyle have all this compassion for Erika Jayne, who is facing criminal charges along with her husband regarding stolen money. But they sat up here and gave Denise Richards the 3rd degree about some stupid rumor about her and Brandi Glanville allegedly sleeping together. So what if they did? That was nothing for anybody to get bent out of shape about and to lose a friendship over. This woman is sitting up here who may have been in cahoots with her thieving husband, and y'all are giving her so much grace? Make it make sense. Every day I believe the rumors that Erika and Rinna, that there was some money that exchanged hands with them, and that Erika might have allegedly given Rinna some money for her makeup line. Because it really makes no sense how Rinna is going so hard for this woman, who she's only known for 5 years. The episode ends with Erika saying, you want to see who your real friends are? Get old or get broke. I said, girl, shut up. You want somebody to feel sorry for you so bad, and it's just not going to happen. This reunion needs to be the next episode, to be very honest with you. But y'all, that was the episode. I hope you enjoyed my recap. You already know what to do. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all later. Bye.